Hey guys, Justin here with ImageWorks Painting. Today we're going to talk about primers. There are a lot of different primers on the market. They all have their own special use. So let's go out to the shop, take a look at what we've got out there, and we'll talk about each one real quick. These are just a few of the pretty common primers that Sherwin-Williams uses on their lines. Over the last couple years, they have made choosing which primer to use extremely easy for us. So let's take a look at what we've got here, and we'll go through each one pretty quick. This one here only comes in 5-gallon buckets. This is called the high build primer. This will help bring a drywall to level 5 finish. It's very thick, very forgiving, and helps fill in minor, very minor imperfections in drywall after they've been mudded and sanded. This is drywall primer. This is what most homeowners would use if they are hanging new drywall, say in their garage, if they're redoing a bedroom or bathroom, if they've got to patch a large hole in a wall, something like that. This is a great primer that will actually seal the new drywall so that when you go to put your new top coats on, they will absorb the paint the same way the rest of the already painted surfaces do. Multi-purpose latex primer. This is your go-to for just about anything. This goes great underneath wallpaper. This will help cover up dark colors. Goes on metal, goes on drywall, goes on just about any surface that you can think of. Very slick, hard to stick to surfaces. They do have another primer for that we'll talk about in just a couple minutes. This one is hard to see, but it's called Pro Block Primer. It is an oil-based primer that Sherwin-Williams has. Generally, this is used by the contractors in the area. They also have a Pro Block latex primer, but this is the oil version with the more purple label to it. We use this a lot on metal frames if we've got to block a water stain, something like that. It's just a general all-purpose oil primer. Next up is an exterior latex wood primer. This is great for painting exterior wood. If you're replacing your soffits or your fascia that are wood and you need to go ahead and make sure that you prime it accordingly so that the new paint soaks in. Otherwise, you'll be putting on 4 or 5 coats of paint as it just keeps soaking into the wood. This will help seal it. This will not block tannins from bleeding through though. If you need to use something to block tannins, if you've got a bleeding wood like a cedar, you need to use an oil-based primer. You can go back to this Pro Block oil. They also make an exterior oil-based wood primer. There's also one called A100 wood primer that's an oil-based. All 3 of those products would work really well for that. This is a quick dry stain blocking primer. This is another latex primer, good for interiors or exteriors. This is quick drying, so it's really great for painters because it keeps us moving. Short open window, meaning it dries very quickly. It does do very well for blocking stains. Not as good as an oil-based primer, but it does do very well. Now, if you have a really stubborn stain, we move to this one here. This is Sherwin's Extreme Block Stain Blocking Primer. This will seal in smoke stains, this will seal in water stains, this will seal out just about any kind of annoying pesky stain that you have that you really need to block before you put on your top coats. For those hard to stick to surfaces that we talked about before, Sherwin makes Extreme Bond Primer. This primer is great if you've got some kind of plastic that you're trying to paint, if you have a really slick or very shiny, glossy surface that you're trying to go over. This will bond very well to it. I've seen people use this on glass. We don't really recommend painting glass that often because it will scratch no matter what, but this will stick to even glass very well. White pigmented shellac primer. So shellac is not oil-based, it is not water-based. Shellac is its own entity. Shellac is probably the ultimate in quick drying stain blocking primers. Shellac should really only be used interior It says that you can use it for spot exterior, however, you're going to want to top coat it very quickly exterior. It will mildew very, very quickly outside. But white pigmented shellac primer, if none of these other primers work at blocking a stain, or if you need something really, really fast drying, that's what this white pigmented shellac primer is for. So again, this is just a few of the primers that Sherwin-Williams offers. There are other companies out there. Zinsser makes a lot of primers that you can get at Home Depot. PPG makes pretty much all of these exact same primers in their own product line. Home Depot sells Kills. The Kills Original is an oil-based primer, a lot like this Pro Block primer that you've got right here. Now they make a Kills 2 latex, which is a lot like this multi-purpose latex primer here. But they will all work and they all have their own purpose. So you have to figure out exactly what it is you're priming, why you're priming it, and then go grab the correct primer for the job. As I mentioned, this is just a couple of the primers that are available on the market. The main reason that you use a primer is to seal or to block something from coming through your top coat. If a wall's already been painted, like this wall here behind me, I may prime this one because it's such a dark blue and I do have this graphic painted in. This white wall that's painted, there's no need to prime this before I go painting again. It's a flat finish, it's already sealed, the new paint's not going to soak into that drywall. I would paint right on top of that, no problem at all. So just know what it is you're trying to accomplish with a primer. Primers are usually less expensive than your top coat. Once you get into some of those specialty primers like the Extreme Bond or the Extreme Stain Blocking Primer, they do get a little pricier. So know what you need, talk to your local paint store, and they'll guide you in the right direction. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and post them below and we'll try to answer them as soon as we can. If you like these types of videos and want to know more about painting products or tips and tricks we use out on the job site, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. We try to put a video out every week for you guys, and we'll see you then. See ya.